That's 2 straight series victories in the toughest stretch and the most defining stretch throughout the rest of their season. To win both of these series, obviously for what it does in the standing, speaks for itself.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. He's Brian McKeon. We're both lifelong Yankee fans. We have the privilege of hosting this show about your Yankees. And Brian, we've seen a lot in the last year and a half, huh?
We certainly have. Big series win, though. One of the biggest weekends they've had in a while.
Yes, we will discuss that in a bit. First, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. And you can follow us on TikTok if you're there. LockedOn_Yankees. On today's show, we'll tell you about some news from around the league. We'll take a look at where the Yankees stand after these first 6 games of their 12-game gauntlet that everyone was calling it. But first, the Yankees did what they needed to do. They won the series against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it actually was super important to get this series win. And I don't even necessarily mean that for the standings. Like, obviously, that is obvious to what it is. The standing is important. It's a 2-game lead for the Blue Jays. You prove to yourself that you can beat them. But I think that's the most important thing, is what this does for this team psychologically. It tells them that they can continue to compete with the good teams in the league. You go back to the last series, and then you go to this series, and you think, okay, this is a really rough stretch they're going into. They just took 2 out of 3 from Houston. Now they take 2 out of 3 to the Blue Jays. That's 2 straight series victories in the toughest stretch and the most defining stretch throughout the rest of their season. To win both of these series, obviously for what it does in the standing, speaks for itself. But for what it does for this roster and the personalities on this team psychologically, after what's gone on the last 2 months, and we've documented that for certain, right? What's gone on the last 2 or 3 months, this team could look at it and be super frustrated and everything. It can all be erased by how you play in these next 2 weeks. All of it can be erased by that. And entering the postseason, if you enter it with these 4 series, getting already 2 series victories out of it, I think it's unbelievably impressive. And now you go into a Tiger series, you don't get Scooble. So they outstanding win. I think Sunday's win becomes more important to this team than it actually looks on the record of the box score, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, because what I was thinking about both Saturday and Sunday, after you drop the game the way you do on Friday, they were clearly tired. They got in early in the morning on Friday. That was basically...
They got delayed. Delayed, so they got in at 6:30 in the morning in New York.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they didn't have the off day then. Like, I get it. It's hard to schedule an entire league and know how things are going to turn out.
Get this too. I before I let you continue, because this is very interesting. The way the MLB scheduling works is the Yankees are allowed to request to the league that game to be, when the schedule comes out, any games that they're following another, like it's a travel day, but there's no day in between. The Yankees are allowed, the road team that's going back home or another city is allowed to request that Major League Baseball, that the home team for that game move that game to an afternoon game as opposed to a night game.
Mm-hmm.
And that request goes through Major League Baseball, and then the home team that night has the option of whether moving that game up to 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 7 p.m. like a normal nighttime start. The Yankees did request that before the schedule came out last season, and the Astros denied it.
Of course they did.
I mean, it is gamesmanship, and I'm sure the Yankees would do the exact same thing if the scenario was reversed, so I'm not going to be that mad at Houston, but I am just going to say, like, that is so par for the course in a rivalry for 2 teams to do that to each other. And you know what? To Houston's credit, it did absolutely result in a Yankee loss on Friday. They were sluggish and not ready to play, and I can't blame them too much for that.
Yeah. I chalked that up too. I figured they were going to lose when I mean, I figured anyway, just because of the travel, but then it turned out that they were delayed even more. So it was just, they didn't look right at all. From the limited stuff that I did see, as you all know, I was not here while the series was going on. I got to watch Sunday, but I didn't get to see Saturday. I had to keep track of it on my train ride back from my trip. And I was going through the storms that hit Yankee Stadium a little while after they hit Yankee Stadium while I was on Amtrak in Connecticut. So, wow, that weather was nuts. And I will say about Saturday and Sunday, they would have lost those 2 games to the Blue Jays if this were June or July. Like, no question in my mind, they would have lost both of those games. With the way they were being played, they were on a tightrope most of Sunday. Once the Blue Jays tied it, and even when they were ahead 4-3, you felt like if this game were in June, the Blue Jays would have pulled ahead. The Yankees would have been uninspired to do much in the latter innings, and the Blue Jays would have gone on to win the game. It just felt different. And the Yankees, honestly, besides Fried having a really good game on Sunday, they had no business winning that game. With the way they played, they had no business winning that game.
I'll give you this. I will say this, and I hate being this guy, but I think it's the truth. The manager did everything imaginable to help them try and lose this game.
Yes.
And we're gonna keep saying this all year, and I'm sure this will be a talking point in the postseason because I'm sure it'll happen at some point then. Under what logical reason could you? I want you to dig as deep as humanly possible as you can find in your brain. Your brain that's got what? A couple decades more on this planet than mine does of operating. Give me any discernible reason why Devin Williams is in the game in the 8th inning in a 1-run game when you have a day off on Monday.
I don't know. I don't know. When I saw that he was warming up, I just thought to myself, is Boone really doing this? Is Boone really okay? And I'm not going to make an excuse here. Say they did win Friday and they win Saturday, right? It would be a total Boone move to do this on a Sunday.
White flag, because we're the best team in baseball, yeah.
But to do it in the rubber game, were you really I know they say, oh, it's just a game. It's just another game. It's not just another game. You know that these guys have been kicking your ass all season. They've made you look 100%. Silly all season, and you've made yourselves look silly in front of them. You needed that win on Sunday. And when your manager puts the guy out that you're thinking, the fans are thinking to themselves, oh no.
Oh, this is a loss.
This is a loss. He's going to blow this. And he did.
By the way, he wasn't lights out though. He put 2 runners on. He was not locating that changeup was off. I think the Blue Jays went up there swing happy. To be honest with you, because Vlad was trying to hit the ball 900 feet, swung at the changeup. Like they helped Devin Williams out, and he got out of it. Credit. I do want to say this, and I hope if you're commuting right now or on your computer at work or whatever you're doing, and you're listening to the show, and you're an avid commenter, and we do appreciate your comments and love them. Trust me, we read them a lot and we love them. Before you're reaching for the comment center to the comment section to type in, well, but they got out of it. The decision worked. Just because the decision works, especially in baseball, does not mean it's the right call.
Right.
You can get away with something in baseball without it being the right decision. I know Luke Weaver threw the day before. I know that Doval threw the day before. I know that Tim Hill threw 2 days prior. You have an off day on Monday. And it's not okay for those guys to throw 2 days in a row because you don't want to kill their arms. But it's okay for Bednar to throw a second day in a row.
Right.
The explanation post-game is so outrageous. I didn't want to use those guys a second day in a row because of their arms. But your closer, Bednar, is okay to use a second day in a row. There's no discernible reason for why that makes any sense at all. And I left that game, and I'm so happy they won the game on Sunday because, again, it means so much for this team. Mm-hmm. I honestly left watching that game still angry as if they lost the game because you could make a legitimate case that the manager is trying to sabotage the organization. That's how bad of a decision that is. This guy has blown multiple games, can't find the strike zone remotely. He hasn't been great as of late either. It's not like he's been good lately where you're trusting him now. That was a borderline must-win game, an insanely important time of the year, and you're using a guy with a 9 ERA in that spot? It's the craziest thing I've ever. I can't make any sense of it.
Boone wants to think of not the current iteration of the pitcher. He thinks of the guy from the past who's like the lockdown closer, and he wants to give the guy a chance. But it's like you have to think of what he's doing this season. He clearly does not have it. We're now in September, Aaron Boone. There are 19 games left in the season.
It's do or die. Like
we're in do or die time, and Devin Williams is past the point of no return. No one trusts him. I don't know why you did.
Well, and to do it, what makes it so much worse is to do it in a rubber game versus the Blue Jays, the team you're directly chasing.
This is a game against the White Sox.
Yeah, I get it more, but like this is and to close out on that, he brought him in to face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters.
Right.
Like it's just trying to explain it is the craziest thing ever that he would even consider using Williams in that spot. And it gets buried because of week 1 of the NFL. So a lot of Yankee fans weren't. It's just the craziest thing I've ever seen in a situation. I want to give props to one guy that played two storylines. One, Max Fried.
Yes.
Gutsy start, great performance, just unbelievable. Very happy with that. 2, Judge is clearly hurt. That the arm is just, you're going to find out as soon as the season ends, he's going for surgery. I honestly believe that. He can't throw at all.
No.
I mean, honestly, the throw to second base was any year we've ever watched Judge, that guy is drilled at second base. He had no velocity on the throw. And then the throw home, the sack fly. I mean, normally a runner wouldn't even test Judge in that distance.
No.
And instead he catches it and goes straight to the cutoff guy. He's clearly very hurt. Yes. And they're putting him in there because he can cover more ground than Stanton. I totally understand that. And I think it is the right call. It is. But Stacey, I think he's gonna have surgery within a week after the season ends, and then you might not get him back till June or July of next year. Yeah, I honestly believe that.
That'll be fun. So 2 quick notes for you guys. So the Yankees are 18-7 in their last 25 games. That's number 1 in all of Major League Baseball over that span. They also tied a season high, going 17 games over 500. Their record is now 80-63.
It's been the kind of stretch that we said they were going to need to have to get back involved in this division, and they've done that. They're also 1 win away from securing another consecutive season not going under 500, which is it's the longest in sports history, I believe.
Also, I believe, because I think yesterday the record was 25-19. They're now 26-19 since August 1st. So they definitely turned things around once June and July were over. Not that August, they weren't burning down any doors. They weren't, but they were definitely over 500, and they were much better than they were in June and July. And they're continuing it through September. And so far, out of the first 6 games of this 12-game stretch where people were eyeing this on the calendar, they're 4-2. You could ask for more, but 4-2, I'm thrilled with 4-2 against those teams.
I don't think you could have painted a better picture when it comes to the start of this stretch.
Yeah.
They can obviously get swept in the next 2 series. So let's hold on to our stuff first. But
they're not getting swept in the next 2 series. They're not.
Someone's clipping that right now.
They're not. I'm telling you right now, they're not. All right, don't forget.
Your mouth to God's ears.
Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out the lineups during the season when I remember to do them. I was away, so I forgot. I apologize. We also send out roster moves and breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. All right, so coming up, we're going to take a look at where the Yankees stand and all the different scenarios, because it seems like there are 10 teams involved in the AL wildcard, and any one of them can be in those 3 spots. So we're going to talk about that next.
So, guys, most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth. And whether it's your 401k, properties, or investments, and you don't have to look at the full picture, you can end up leaving a lot of money on the table. And that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives, and if you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is just for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization for your spending, and finally feel in control of your money. And without ever touching your spreadsheet, it's so convenient and so easy. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. you can use code one word locked on MLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for a half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code one word locked on MLB.
Everyone's favorite day of the week, if you're a Locked On Yankees viewer or listener, is Fan Mail Friday. And if you are not a Locked On Yankees insider and you want to leave questions for us on YouTube, this is how you do it. You go to our channel's page, you click on the post tab, you will see the latest post where I tell you, leave your Fan Mail Friday questions here, and I give you a deadline. This week, we're back to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Thursday.
So, Stacey, fascinating stuff when you look at the rest of the season going forward when it comes to the American League. Now, before that, I do want to discuss the Yankees remaining as it looks right now. So, where they stand right now, the Yankees have a 5.5 game lead over everybody for that top wild card spot in the American League, which is very important. It would be hard stretch at this point to find a scenario where the Yankees don't make the postseason. It would be it would be a massive collapse if I could say. It would. They currently have a 1.5 game lead over the Boston Red Sox at the second place. I think at this point, it's safe to say if both of those teams don't make the postseason, it would be a complete and utter shock. Yeah. And the Yankees and Red Sox are both getting it at this point. That's where it gets very juicy post that. There are 5 teams essentially fighting for that final wild card spot, and it could turn in the matter of a week. It's that crazy. Right now, as it presently stands, Seattle has that final wild card spot. Followed by them is Texas, who's a 1.5 game back, who, out of all these teams that I'm going to read off, might be the most inconsistent team out of all these. Mm-hmm. The roster looks awesome. It's hard to believe that they're fighting for a wild card. They could still win the division somehow. They play really hot for a week, and then they can't win a game for the week after that. I don't get Texas at all. It's really concerning to me. After that is Kansas City, who's 2 games back of that final wild card spot. Kansas City just lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins, so I don't know where they're heading. But then they'll beat the Tigers, so I don't know what's going on there. Then you have Cleveland, who's 2.5 back, and then you have Tampa, who's 4 back. Just came off playing the hottest 2 weeks in baseball. Tampa was dead and buried out of it, and then all of a sudden woke up and played really well. Which is crazy. So that's the 5 teams that are fighting for that final wild card spot. The Rays played the Guardians. Royals lost to the Twins. Rays lost their series to the Guardians as well, which is crazy from a Rays perspective, how they played so well going in and beat the Mariners and then lost to the Guardians. All these teams separated by 4 games total, which is insane. The Guardians and Royals are 2.5 and 2 games back respectively. They're going to start a 4-game series on Monday. So I do think if one of those teams has an opportunity to eliminate the other, essentially, if it's a sweeper of 3 out of 4, you kind of do eliminate the other team. Any one of these teams, this is the common theme for all of them, Stacey, they get hot and then they get really cold. None of these teams are consistent, which is wild. And yet they're going to likely play the winner of the American League West. And I bring that division up specifically because of the way that division is shaping out. We talked about Seattle. We talked about Texas being the top team for that wild card spot. Here's where it gets fishy. Seattle's only 2.5 back of Houston for the top of that division. And Texas is only 4 back of Houston for the top of that division. So Houston could easily fall back to the wild card. Easily. And they're pretty inconsistent. But if one of those teams jumps in, the winner of that wild card spot is going to play likely the winner of the American League West. Which is going to be, they can wind up winning that series easily with the pitching that some of these teams have. This is exactly what Major League Baseball was doing, but was trying to do, by the way, by adding the extra wild card teams. Exactly what they want. They want 5 teams filling their seasons alive late in the season and having all this drama. But I got to tell you, this is wild. I want to give you one tidbit before I hear your comments on this, because I find this very interesting. American League East. We thought the competitiveness was dying in that division with how it shaped out in the middle of the summer. It's right back to where it was towards opening day. We thought this was going to be, now we thought the Orioles were going to be much better, to credit. We thought the Red Sox were going to be a lot worse. Other than that, Stacey, 4 of these teams can make the postseason. That's how good the American League East has become. The Central, still really good. Cleveland's had I think a very good year compared to what people expected out of them. Kansas City has pulled their way right back into it after being under 500 for a lot of the year. Here's what's fascinating. Detroit's got an 8.5 game lead on the division in the American League Central. I think there's a really good chance Detroit can get picked off early on in the postseason.
Oh yeah, I would totally agree with that.
They have had that same 8.5 game lead since about mid-May. None of those teams have quite been good enough to catch Detroit, and they have been on cruise control since before the summer started.
And then Detroit hasn't been able to pull away and really make it like, I mean, I know 8.5 game lead is big, but like you said, they've been stuck there for a while. They haven't really pulled away to the point where you're like, okay, the other teams are like 20 games behind there.
Yeah.
This is a cakewalk kind of a thing. Like, they're losing series to teams that you don't expect them to lose series to. And they're, when you look at the whole AL, you're not going to see it. I don't think you're going to see a 95 game winner, right? Like they're all going to be hovering around 90.
That's the thing. I mean, find me the team in the American League that if you're the Yankees, you're terrified to play.
Right. There's no one head and shoulders above. There's no 98 Yankees. There's no 2001 Mariners. There's no, even the, what was it? The 2018 Red Sox, they won a bunch of games, or even like the 2019 Yankees winning 103 games. Like, yeah, there's no real team that you shouldn't think to yourself, because even with the way the Blue Jays have beaten up on the Yankees, it wasn't always the Blue Jays beating up on the Yankees. They lost a lot of those games. Like, sure, the Blue Jays took advantage of things, but the Yankees really played themselves out of at least 3 of those games in Toronto that they played against them this year.
And the Blue Jays, and this is a big deal when it comes to the postseason, the Blue Jays run differential is plus 65. The Yankees is plus 140. So the Yankees do tend to be able to build leads on teams. That Detroit thing just, it feels like they've been playing with their food for the last 3 or 4 months, where they know where they're going to sit in the division. They know what's going to happen, and they haven't taken the rest of the season as seriously as they really should be. They should have tried to be a 105-win team and just run through and have all this confidence going forward. I think they could easily get picked off early on in the divisional round. Honestly, like that quickly. I also think this is a big deal too. They tried at the deadline to find a good number 2 to go behind Skubal, and nothing about Skubal's amazing. He's going to probably win the American League Cy Young. He's been that good. It's going to be him or Whitlock. He's been great. Here's what's concerning to me. They pretty much, as an organization, begged Casey Mize to take that spot and become their number 2. He hasn't. He's been good. You'll see him in the Yankee series. Has not been this otherworldly elite level talent that they're expecting him to go become. And, then they make some moves at the deadline. None of those guys have really panned out and become that. Even none of them have even become the Flaherty of last year for them, where they were able to have him play well for them and they moved him. None of them have become that. So I don't look at this Detroit team as overly scary. And that's the only team that I would look at in the American League where, that's the best team. That's better than the Yankees. They were better than the Yankees for a while. Stacey, they're 82-62. The Yankees are 80-63.
Right.
Detroit is just, they're a product. And think about it. The Yankees were in the American League Central, how differently we view their season.
Right.
They'd have an 8.5 game lead over Kansas. They have a 6.5 game lead over Kansas City. And it would be a fait accompli. They're going to win that division. Now I don't know that. So it is wild that you have 5 teams chasing this final wild card spot. It's insane. This American League is going in for a great chase, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm just hoping, the Yankees, I'm hoping we don't have to worry about the Yankees falling back or doing anything. I would much prefer just watch the rest of those teams. You guys go fight, you have fun, and we watch the Yankees kind of cruise into the playoffs without having to worry about those 5 teams. So
exactly.
That's my wish. All right, coming up, we're going to tell you about some news from around the league. Next.
This episode is brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 flavors with 2 milligrams and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are also a game changer. I've used the caffeine toothpicks before big meetings and long drives. They give me the energy I need without the jitters, and the flavors like peppermint watermelon ice actually taste amazing. So go to zippixtoothpicks.com and use code one word locked on for 10% off your first order. You must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code locked on. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix toothpicks. And guys, not only do we cover your team every single day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. Check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman, and it appears right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. It also streams on our YouTube channel. Get a rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So, Stacey, your favorite segment of the week besides Fan Mail Friday or Stacey's Miners Monday, Miners Tuesday, Trek through the Miners on Tuesday, whatever we're calling it now. That will be tomorrow. If you guys want to tune in, you will be hearing that tomorrow as we'll go through the minor league, some updates on some postseason implications with the Yankees minor league teams. We will go through the news around the league, though, Monday's edition. So I don't know if you saw this on Saturday because you weren't too up on baseball on Saturday, but the Dodgers and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Stacey, he took a no-hitter into the ninth inning with 2 outs, lost a no-hitter on a home run. That's one thing. The Dodgers were up 3-0 against the Orioles and lost the baseball game. No-hitter with 2 outs in the ninth and lost the game outright.
I was actually home. I got home because let's pull the curtain back. My Amtrak train was delayed nearly 2 hours leaving Boston on
brutal job out of them, by the way. I mean,
Saturday.
Give me a break.
I purposely booked the earlier train because I wanted to get home earlier, and I got home the same time that I normally would have because I would have taken the 2 hour later train.
Get serious.
So we weren't watching anything, but my brother's like, "Oh, Yamamoto get 2 outs, ninth inning, Jackson Holiday," and I'm like, "It'd be nice if Holiday could hit a home run." Then my brother starts laughing. He goes, "He just hit a home run. He just broke up the no-hitter with a home run." And I was like, "All right, well, at least they did that." And then things got progressively worse. Blake, I wrote on Blue Sky, Blake is trying to blow this game. And he really did a bang-up job of...
Yeah, their bullpen's been terrible, and the Dodgers lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. It's wild. Now, the Rockies, the Padres have 2 series left against the Rockies. The Dodgers are going to play the Rockies this upcoming weekend, but after that, the Padres have 2 series left against them, so it's getting dicey in that NL West. It's a really good chase.
Hopefully no one on the Padres will show up Kyle Freeland or else.
Yep, it's crazy. It's crazy. Give us your update on Robinson Cano in the Mexican League, please.
Yes, so Robinson Cano reached 3,996 professional hits over the weekend, and his team advanced to the finals in the league. They'll be facing the Charros de, let's see if I can get this right, Jalisco. I think that's how you say it. In a 7-game series, doesn't start until Wednesday, but that means Cano has at least 4 more games to get to 4,000 hits. So he's guaranteed those 4 games to do it. They intentionally walked him, I believe, in that final game twice, I want to say.
Wow.
But could you imagine that 42, almost 43-year-old Robinson Cano is still doing what he's doing at that age? It's unbelievable. And yes, we keep repeating this. Yes, it's the Mexican League, but still, it's impressive.
Cool.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it's cool. It is extremely impressive, and
also depressing though. But it's also depressing, yeah, because of the steroid nonsense. Because Cano had a chance to be one of those players that was like one of those guys that you'd be talking about 25 years from now.
Oh, he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
he would have been a Hall of Famer, and it's sad because he wasn't a power hitter. He didn't need the steroids.
He didn't need that. He didn't really get hurt either. Like he was a pretty healthy player because in a lot of cases
there was no Andy Pettitte reason.
Guys took things to recover faster. We all know that, and he really didn't have a reason to do it. It was just silliness, and that's sort of depressing. But we'll see. I think he gets it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And I think he's going to get it too. And I think he would have absolutely been a Hall of Famer. You're talking over 4,000 hits combined in international play and major league play. The only guy that comes to mind that's got that level numbers is Ichiro.
Right.
When it comes to that crazy. So, I mean, yeah, didn't need to do the steroids, shouldn't have done the steroids. And if he doesn't sign with the Mariners, and that was one of those weird ones too, where the Yankees offered him a very competitive deal with the Mariners. They didn't sit out of that deal. They wanted him back, and he went after the money, which is fine by him. He gets to make that decision, but he doesn't take the steroids and stays with the Yankees, he goes down in Yankee lore as an all-time great and maybe the greatest second baseman in Yankee history.
Do you think that if he stayed with the Yankees, he would have gotten popped for steroids, or do you think it was the pressure of the contract with the Mariners that made him take them?
No, I think he would have took the steroids because I think the pressure of the contract would have been more on with the Yankees.
Really? Because he already played for them? I don't think so. I think going to a new team and being the guy.
True.
Because he wasn't the guy on the Yankees. You know what I mean?
he was handed the keys to that Mariner team. He was expected to go be the guy. I don't hate that opinion. I just think Cano was a lot about himself. It was always the Robinson Cano show. And I think that's part of the reason why he left is he wanted his own team and they wanted it to be the Robinson Cano show instead of it being him and Teixeira and Jeter and A-Rod and whoever the Yankees were going to sign. Overall, though, just silly stuff that the steroids that ruin another guy that should have absolutely been a Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame talent, and certainly Hall of Fame hitter. So, but crazy's going to hit 4,000 hits. That's pretty impressive. Sad news in the baseball world. Davey Johnson passed away, 82 years old. Famously led the Mets to that 86 World Series. So, thoughts and prayers to his family. Really sad to see that. Yeah. And then lastly, the Mariners won their game on Sunday, 18-3 over the Braves. Absolutely destroyed them.
Braves.
Spencer Strider had his worst start of his career. He lasted 3 innings, gave up 9 runs. It was unbelievably awful for him.
Yikes.
Cal Raleigh in this game, of course, in the 9th inning, complete garbage time, hit his 53rd home run of the year.
Was it off an actual pitcher or was it a position player?
I actually don't know, but I can't imagine it was a real pitcher. I don't, 53 though. We're at presently constituted. It's September 9th or September 8th. Is he getting there?
I don't know.
He's gonna have to have a run. 10's a lot in a month.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to have a legitimate.
And it's less than a month. You have what, like 19 games left?
Yeah, it's dicey. He's gonna have to go off in 19 games. If I'd say this, if he breaks it, he's winning the MVP.
Oh yeah.
And we will 100% have an episode that we will be angry about because I think both of us will be very livid over it. He's winning the MVP.
Yeah.
Judge hasn't taken that unbelievable step to go secure it for himself, which is fine. His numbers are still crazy. But
he's also playing hurt. So.
Yes. If Cal Raleigh breaks that record, gets to that record, he's gonna A, create a historical mark, B, break the record, and C, he's gonna have such a good month the Mariners get into the postseason. So he's gonna, if he gets the record, he's gonna win MVP. But I don't know. It's dicey. It's not as close as it seems.
Yeah. All right. Well, coming up on tomorrow's show, we will preview the series with the Tigers because today is an off day, and we will also take you on our Tuesday trek through the minors. So thank you for making Locked On your first listen every day. For your second listen, find the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, until a World Series champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.